Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wisdom from the Field. I'm sitting here today with a special guest, Shliach Rabbi Yossi Mintz from Redondo Beach, California. Did I say it correctly?
Correct.
Welcome, Rabbi Mintz. Thank you for joining us.
Shalom Aleichem. Thank you.
So I know we have a tight hour, and I would love to get to as much as we can today. But very briefly, could you bring us into your world? What does the Maestis of Chabad of Redondo Beach look like today?
We came on Shlichus Baruch Hashem. We were appointed Shluchim in Tafshin Nun Vav 1996. I got married in 95. I came out to California as my shver and shviga were out here. Originally, we were looking for Florida. I was a shliach habacher in Florida, and I helped start with someone Rabbi Mintz and other shluchim to start. We started the shuls in Delray Beach and Boynton Beach just to start the Shabbos minyan as bachrim. So there was always an opportunity. But then when I got married, Rabbi Shlomo Kunya called me and says, "Listen, we have a makom shlichus for you. Would be interested." And that's what brings us today. That's where we are today.
Wow. So that was 30 years ago. 30 years, right?
Exactly. We celebrated just the 30th year. When I came here first, it was, the shluchim not far. Rabbi Eli Heft was Chabad at the South Bay. So Lahaban and Refuah Shalema. And I came, and he said to me, "There's no Yidden here, really. There's no Yidden. I don't know Yossi, you really want to put on a tefillin here with one or two people." And I don't know. When we say Hashem Etzadei Go, David HaMelech says, there's no question about it that the Netiya for me to pull over here, there was something here. I remember coming the first time with my wife, and then we looked for a place to sign. We signed it on Yud Shvat. Yud Shvat, exactly. We signed the contract on my home to move in Manhattan Beach. When we moved in was Manhattan Beach, which is the city right next to us, a small little beach communities. And we came out and we rented the first house, and then we rented a shul, and then we went from there, Baruch Hashem. We had tremendous hatzlacha. And with the Keich and the Blachas of the Rebbe, it was tremendous, Baruch Hashem.
Wow. Was there any initial challenges in those earlier years starting out?
The challenges were the naysayers, internally and externally. There was internally, which was even other shluchim told me that this is not the right place. There's not many Yidden here. There wasn't like a lot of Yidden here at that time. And also, internally myself, moving into a new place without any financial support from anybody. It was really that we had to go. We're very similar to this today. And we had to figure it out from day one. My wife first, when we came over here, was driving every single day, was driving into Los Angeles to teach in the Maestas there, in the Chabad the educational facilities there. So it was a little parnasa coming from there. I was working for my shver a little bit, very little, Naftali Astulin. And so I helped out a little over there, so I made a little over there, and that's it, really. And then we went out every single day, shopping for Yidden. Started with kosher days and Ralph's and meeting the places. I still laugh about the story. One of the first stories we had was setting by Ralph's. I still remember this. We had a kosher day. The early days with kosher days. We still do it, actually. We do it now at the farmer markets. We do it. I know the Yontif right before the Chag. And we're there, and a lady we're right at the entrance. A beautiful car pulls up, a stretch limousine, and an older couple walks out, and a Yiddish couple, Thelma Greenwald, a very special family. And she was so excited. She comes from Chicago. She moved here very far from at that time, she was not involved anywhere. She was very distant. But we were signing up addresses that whoever signs up could get win a kosher cookbook. Obviously, she won the kosher cookbook. So it gives me an opportunity to go visit her. So we did. We gave her. We did a few of them. So we did the raffle and we gave it to that. But I also came to her, and I went to bring it to her, and she was very instrumental in helping us with many of our original maestas that we bought and purchased, and all from meeting at a kosher day. And I went up to her. I called her up and I said, "Thelma, you won the cookbook." She was so excited. She said, "I've never won anything." And the rest, Baruch Hashem, it's interesting. All her children, unfortunately, She had a daughter that married a Mormon and had 14 children.
Hmm.
And she had not connected to Yiddishkeit, and I met with many of them at the grandmother's 80th birthday. Many of the children and grandchildren came, and I made a note that you should know that you're all Jewish. They did not know they were Jewish. They were all
Hmm.
very actively involved. Till today, some of them are very actively involved. Some of them are in our school today. So it
Wow.
was interesting. That's how we started.
Wow. So fast forward 30 years, like what does Chabad of Redondo Beach look like today?
Listen, every day you wake up, Baruch Hashem, you have the Chiv Kodesh. We start off, there's no question. You have to be connected. You have to. It's if you're not, as in Mazakti, who was it, Hillel Paracha, who was it that used to went to the mikveh in Lubavitch? I forgot who it was that went down as in Chabad the neighbor
Oh yeah.
when you're connected above, you start off your day with Chassidus. Before we had a minyan, Baruch Hashem, now we have a minyan every day, Shachas Mincha Ma'ariv. But before that, I used to daven every day with the Rebbe. The recording of the Rebbe from davening for the Rebbe was davening for the Yomid. You're able to have davening with the Rebbe, and every day I used to daven, put the speakers
Wow.
on, and I davened with the Rebbe first to learn Chassidus, then davened with the Rebbe. You started your day with Anandra Fanem, and it pushed and inspired me. And
Huh.
where we are today, Baruch Hashem, we have 3 other shluchim working together with us, very talented, David Lisbon, Zalman Gordon, and my son, Mendel, who came out here a few years ago, has his own meisid here also, Baruch Hashem. And we started. We went from step to step. And Baruch Hashem, as many have. We have meisters all over. You have any direct questions, I can answer you. But specifically,
Right, right. You mentioned before, you said that you're working on a building for Friendship Circle, and you have, is it a day school or a Talmud Torah? Like, what are the
you want to know
specific?
where we started and where we are today. So
Yeah.
we started, one of my day-to-day, my inspiration, there's no question, is Rabbi Shlomo Kuhn, the Shliach HaRashi over here. His kashrus to the Rebbe and his determination never to stop is a driving force here for shluchim here in the state of California, Nevada, but also all over the world. He was a tremendous mamish mezakta, the avos and imos were markava.
Hmm.
There's no question that Rabbi Soba, Rabbi Shlomo, you see it every single day. His inspiration, his connection, his kashrus to the Rebbe is so powerful.
Wow.
It's how nothing could stop. No challenge could stop. Every challenge there you learn is to overcome it and brings the best out of it. We had tremendous challenges, and we have challenges now. And you always have to ask yourself, when I have these challenges, 2 things I do. Number 1 is you never say what's the worst case scenario. I just want to say is
Hmm.
typically you always I ask my wife, what's the worst case scenario that happened? And what happens is when you do that, you're creating the opportunity for that worst case scenario to be developed because you're
Hmm.
creating life to it. You always have to think the best case scenario. Trach gut wird sein gut. The Lashon Rabbeinu. The Tzemach Tzedek, Babus Tzich from the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek. There's no question about it. You create. It's not just you think good. You're creating that dynamic that it's going to be good, better. And how good is it going to be? It's going to be Yagaito Matzasa. It's going to be a Metzia that you didn't even understand the greatness of it. The success of it is even going to be greater. And that's typically, so that's number 1. Because every time the challenge comes, I hear this from shluchim, call me all the time, and people call me balabatim, even it's the worst. The world is closing down on me. And I always say,
Wow.
stop. 2 things you should do. Number 1 is think positive. Think the best case scenario. Number 2 is look at your life. We are a miracle. Look at our life. Look at each one of us. If you take a moment, everything works out. So why go borrow? Why borrow tzolis? Why go borrow depression? Why go borrow aggravation? Create things that don't exist. It's just stop it. Stop that approach. Focus. You see, your life has been a miracle. Every one of our lives is mamish anes. There's no question. Look at each one of us. Now, don't compare. Look at your own life. And I tell this to Balabatim. And I can tell you, the Balabatim are attracted to it. They see the inspiration. They say, how are you so positive? Because we are people, the only reason we're here is because we're positive. And you want to look at negativity, it exists. I'm not going to say, I could read you for days now, challenges I have. And believe me, I have a boatload. I have sleepless nights. I wake up in the morning and I'm stressed, whatever it may be. But but that's number 1. Number 2 is, I think it's very important for me. I'm only going to tell you what works with me is I get on the road. I meet people. I don't sit in my office all day. I'm not. People know I don't sit in my office all day. My office is my cell phone. I have it with me and I get out. And I'm always going to visit somebody. I always stop on the way. I meet new people. I stop. Oh, again, another person, a guy, I heard he's over here. I heard he's over there. It's amazing how many people you meet people. And when I go, also another thing is I don't have small talk with people. I don't. People don't need small talk. They have friends. They have everyone. If I leave with an inspiration, a story, a word, something that inspired me, I share it with them. And you'll say they're not interested. That's the Yetzer Hara in us. They're very interested. So you leave it and it gives an inspiration. So wherever you go, people connect to it. People really connect to it. And you bring them into the vision of the Rebbe's vision. So Ein Nemen der Welt. Getting involved, coming to a minyan, I tell people, Yetzias Mitzrayim, going out of your own limitations to reach success, is you first have to stop defining yourself by your limitations. We define ourselves by our limitations. We can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. But you could do anything you want. Anything. You'll tell them the Hasish to Parnasa, you don't have the money for it. The Rebbe Baruch Hashem is Bizbuz Kol Ha'Eitzris. If you go forward, I was just telling now, I give a shir. I was telling everyone by Moshe Rabbeinu last week in Parashas Bamidbar, how did he count all? Rashi says, how did he count all the Noshim B'Taf? He went in front of the tents and a baskil came out. What's hastas? We have to do our action. And the Eibishter, the Rebbe will continue and fulfill it. We have to go, like the Rebbe told when Rabbi Shlomo said where he's going to get the deficit. Rabbi Shlomo Kunyan, he said, he was calling names. No. Ich hab 12 gesumte Fies, will again clapping off the Tirin. That's what the Rebbe said. This is we have to get out. And when we do it, we get out, it's unbelievable. Just go in front of the tents, in front of the homes, in front of the businesses, in front of the Yidden. And really, mitanemes, they'll open up their doors, they'll open up everything for you. It takes time. Everyone is different. I can tell you, some balabatim come immediately. Some balabatim that I have, some of our biggest balabatim, and I say balabatim Yidden, it took 15, 20 years and many aggravation and many sleepless nights. I always say the joke, when you call a balabas, if you're talking to shluchim, you hear about a balabas that has a lot of money, what happens? You get excited, but you're afraid to call him. Why are you afraid to call him? Because before you call him, at least you have the haba minna that it's going to be a big success. So that's already worth value. But if you call him and he tells you no, then you're in trouble. Then your whole dream is over. So you don't even call because you're living on the dream, the fantasia that he's going to give you. I know a lot of people, I live like this sometimes, and I want to tell you, one of those, till today, he doesn't even live here anymore. He moved. But he still supports us midday shana b'shana, and a very, 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 very generous. I'll never forget, I met with him. And I said to him, listen, I'd like you to get involved. I want to build this thing. I want to help with this. I forgot and he says to me, Rabbi Yossi, I love you, but I have no interest in this whatsoever. And I knew him for a while. I have no interest. This doesn't talk to me. Change. And then I changed the conversation. I kept on talking. So he stops me. He says, Rabbi Yossi, I want to ask you a question. I just told you no. Why are you still so friendly with me? Why? Why are you so friendly with me? Why? It's a good shaila. I should throw him out there. What am I wasting my time? I tried. So I looked at him and I said, I want to tell you something. You told me no. Sure, I was hurt by it because it's not about me. It's about the impact we could have on other Yidden. But but I'm also happy because I know statistically, after a few no's, I hit the yes. So you just brought me to the closer yes. So I'm happy. I'm telling you, I'm grateful for that because I know I'm closer. But the question, that's what I tell myself. What you have to ask.
How did this guy, did you like answer?
I said to him, what you have to ask yourself is why is someone else going to be the yes and you're going to be the no? That's what you have to ask because someone is definitely going to say yes. The question is, why are you no and he's yes? That's what you have to ask. He was quiet for a moment. He looked at me and he says, Yossi, I want to be the yes. And Ada Yemazeh, he's still one of our biggest donors because, sure, it was a sense of chutzpah, but it was with an emes. I really gave him. I told him, I still love you as a Yid. And I'm still going to call you and I'm still going to be with you. You don't give me? That doesn't change the narrative for me. That's not, the Rebbe didn't tell us that our mandate that only the people that give money. One of the things that Chabad that we do is all over is we accept everybody, regardless who they are, regardless if they give, if they don't give. And I want to tell you that inspires people. When people see that that's how you do it, inspires people very much.
Wow. Beautiful. Could you share any other instances where, like you said, some Babat more overnight, some take a long time, but that people that through staying with them, they have turned around in their support of.
Definitely. I can tell you like this is, stay in touch with Yidden. Even if they're sometimes very rude or very quick or not interested, stay in touch with them. Because a Yid, every human being goes ups and downs in life. You should be that they know when they need, they should look at you as a spiritual epic center. And when it comes the time the baskil comes out and it touches their neshama, or if something happens, they know that they're accessible to reach you. And that's the answer. You don't wait. God forbid. I'm not talking about tragedy. God forbid. I'm talking about they have an awakening or whatever it may be. Something that happens. It could be a nest. It could be something they get excited about. They should call you and it happens. So you never give up. I could tell you that some of our closest friends and supporters, I worked years. And many times it was with a lot of sweat and a lot of bitterness and a lot of challenges and a lot of letters to the Rebbe, a lot of going and asking. But it's Pasha Nissim. You stay with it. Comes the time, and you see they reach out to you. They reach out. They will reach out. Every Yid will return. And as the Rebbe said, that every shliach is the balabos alasar, is the balabos from Stott. And that's it. So we have to act like we're the balabos from Stott. And that's what we do. You know what I mean? It's you have to act this way. If you're a timid person, they'll look at you as a timid person. You know, Zalman Abelsky, you know, the shliach that was in Eretz Yisrael, that went back to Russia, to Moldavia. You know, he was a timid guy. He was a Kain. He's the Rebbe used to see him. The Rebbe used to tell me, Brichas Kain, and the Rebbe said to him when he came once in Yechidus, I once heard the story, I don't know exactly from the details, but he told the Rebbe that he came to Eretz Yisrael, they was all, as a shliach, they calling him to come Ebenon. But he was a mamish, a tmimistic guy. He doesn't go Ebenon. So the Rebbe told him, I don't forget the Loshna, du gehst nicht. Nisiderenu geht. It's not you who's going, you represent the Rebbe. So when you go with the Ge'en Yaakov, it's people move away. They move away. You have to be careful. You can't be an egomaniac. But you go with Hentum, with Fist, that you're not representing, you're representing Yiddishkeit. You are a representation of Moshe Rabbeinu and not your community. And that's it. So it comes in, this is this. They never saw from most places, they never saw from a Yid. I'll never forget, I once finally, after reaching out to someone for a while, I finally we had a conversation. We're going to meet for coffee in the local coffee shop here, the coffee bean that's kosher, was kosher. And I said to him, I'll never forget, I said, Stephen, I want to tell you, I sit outside. I hang out there a lot. I sit outside. It's not close to my house. Sometimes in the morning, I have coffee and I meet people. So he tells me, I said, I want to tell you, I sit outside. You'll see me there. He says, and I have a beard. He says, Rabbi, you think I don't know how you look like? Yeah, I've been living here in this city for 7 years. You think people in the city don't? You see you walking down the street. You stand out, Rabbi. We know exactly who you are. You know what I mean? We know who you are. You're in our community. And there's many shluchim all over. You walk in with Ayamake. You're going with tzitzis. It's a Ge'en Yaakov. And people today are looking for connection. They're looking for direction. So many people are lost. And they see you with such fire, with such dedication, with such commitment. People are attracted to you. They're attracted. And that's what you do. And every day you go, and I don't consider myself a fundraiser. I'm here. We are Yiddishkeit. We are the Yiddishkeit of our community. So you have to help us to blossom whatever vehicle possible to do. We have to be the direct. But we can't wait for people to come. We're not Shlema Melech and Melech Shavas coming to us. We're not holding Yemei Mashiach yet. We got to go out. When we go out, and I go out every single day, I'm out. I'm out in the streets every single day. I go places, even if sometimes just to take a walk downtown, the offices. I go through. I meet people. You meet. You'll always know who a Yid is. You could see right away who it is. You have feeling. You have a connection. You have this. I can tell you, just Friday, I was at the construction site of our building. And a guy passes by, I say hello to him. A guy working there, we have 70, 80 people every day. A guy walks by and I say, how are you? And as he walks, I said, thank you so much. And he works with the electrician. Yeah. He's the head of the Taft electrical company. He walks away. He says, Shabbat Shalom. I said, good Shabbos to him. And then he looks at me and he says, I'm surprised you're not asking me to put on tefillin. That's what he tells me. And I said, wow, I didn't know he was Jewish. I really didn't. And imagine he's putting me on notice now. And I'm sitting, why was I there? I was taking a balabos on a tour. So here I have a dilemma. Do I stop with the tour the guy who's giving me his time to stop and run to my car. I have tefillin in my car always in the glove compartment to put him on tefillin. So I'm like, which I do. The balabas who I'm with, this guy Josh, who owns his own pair of tefillin already, who knows I've known for many years, he says, Yossi, go fast, put him on tefillin. That's what you got to do. This is what you imagine. They're telling us you're ready to do it.
Wow.
This is it.
That's how you know you're pale something.
They said, go put on tefillin. I did. And the guy was so happy. I put him on, Baruch Hashem, we put on tefillin. And I asked if he has tefillin. He said he has. He's going to tell me he's going to bring me his old tefillin so I could check it. What else?
Wow. Wow. Beautiful. You mentioned earlier about, the Rebbe's vision and thinking big, like, how does that play? How do you see that playing a role in the growth of your shlichus and your meistis?
So I could tell you like this: is we started very small, as everybody, and then we started a Hebrew school, and then we knew we needed to start a preschool because that's how you get the families. And how we're going to find the building? We had nissim. Without going into details, I was on shlichus for 3-4 years, and there was a very large building we found out that was for sale, a very large building. And I said, how could I even get such a building? It's like ludicrous. I'm going from 2,000 square feet to 40,000 square feet. It was not shaykh. But I remember speaking to other shluchim, ziknei shluchim, Rabbi Kunyin, my shver, definitely, Dr. Stone, how are you going to get the money? Baruch Hashem, there was such nissim that happened with that. It's like I pinch myself. I can't believe it, how we did it. That we were able to get. And it was only my limitations. We could have got much more, but I myself was limiting it to it. I want to tell you something very interesting. This is for us also. When we started a new project to build a new campus, we had the Friendship Campus, which is like a friendship circle, a little bit different Friendship Campus. And we're also doing part of our day school there, and a cafe, which will be inside, and a teen programs, et cetera, et cetera. And I want to tell you, in my mind, I knew a number that I said, what number could I go out and raise? What number could I really go out? This is the koyach of each one of us. And in my mind, I came to the maskana, I could raise $18 million, which was a chutzpah. But in my mind, I figured I could ask this one. I had on paper. I wrote it down. It was all Havam. It was all fantasy. Right. But I wrote down a group of like 50 balabatim. How much you think I could ask for each one? And I started.
So that was your.
That was my yeah. That was it. Baruch Hashem, after a period of time, I was able to get pledged out $18 million. But the project was so much more. It grew so much more. And I didn't know what to do. I was at that time, I needed so much more money, but I couldn't rate. Everyone I went to was no. I couldn't. I wasn't looking for $10,000. I had to raise millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I couldn't. And I didn't know what to do. What I realized was it was me, because in my mind, the ceiling was $18 million. Until I had to do it myself, I had to go through a process, push it, that I could do it. I have to break that barrier. I was in my own Mitzrayim. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. I couldn't find a door out. Until I sat down. I pushed it, sat down. And I pushed it, sat, and it durchgebrochen. I pushed it, broke through. That I could do it. I had to commit, not fantasy. Not fantasy. In your mind, you could do it. And I convinced myself with the koyach, with writing into the Rebbe. I remember going, and I told my wife, I told the others, I'm ready to go. We're going to do it. The doors opened up. Unbelievable. The day before, it wasn't moving. After, because like the Rebbe says, it says, you have to hachin atzmai, ve'es kol hayolim kulei. You can't have kol hayolim kulei if it's not the hachin atzmai. You can't impact anybody else. I always tell people, you want to inspire someone, you have to be inspirational. You cannot light a candle if you're not a candle yourself. You want to impact somebody, go out. I can tell you certain days I'm not. I just don't feel like it. So I stay low. You have to know yourself. You have good days and you have good days. So some days you have to, rally yourself up and you go out. And Baruch Hashem, every challenge is not a challenge. We're learning now in the Kelel of Dach. They have from 302. I learn it every day. I have a chavrusa, Baruch Hashem. It's a fantastic. Those are not involved. I give a plug. You should do it. And now it's Avedis Hanisienis. It's unbelievable. It gives a whole different, you're not afraid anymore. You embrace it. It's bringing out the best. We all have challenges. I could tell you, I have a lot of challenges. It looks wonderful. We're Baruch Hashem building. We're finalizing now a $70 million campus. Woo, I could raise that kind of money. You're crazy. But if Yossi Mintz could do it, anybody else could do it. And I'm telling you serious, it's nicht great chachmas. I live in a very big Jewish community. I don't live in the wealthiest. Everyone said the wealthy. I don't. I live in a very nice community, growing, successful. And Baruch Hashem, you go out there with zwei gesunte Fies, with the Kerech and the Bitochen and the Rebbe. That's it. There's nothing could stop you. Nobody. And I have Nissim. When I have that Durgang, that approach, nobody could stop you.
Wow. That's really inspiring.
I'm sure you hear this from everybody. You're interviewing shluchim all the time. So I'm sure what I'm telling you, I'm sure you hear this every day.
Everybody has, their kav shalai, the thing that really, they might have a zar tzvei, the thing that you're mitzvah in. So, so on a practical note, what would you say a message to a shliach who's earlier on in the journey, where what can he do and what mindset could he have to to keep going and to believe that it's possible to see real hatzlacha and growth.
Pick up the phone, get up in the morning, learn chassidus, daven, start your day, awareness yispo. You hear a no big deal. Just keep on going. And you meet a yid, whoever it may be. You don't know who it is. You never know. I'm telling you, some of our greatest successes is meeting people who introduced us to people. So and I just showered him with love. True Abbas Yisrael. The tremendous by us was Abbas Yisrael. When they see Abbas Yisrael, Kipshutei, it opens up every avenue. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable what happens. Our biggest donor that's given us to our facility, I mean, the number is static. It's enormous. I mean, I don't have to say it, but it's a very, very large number. I mean, the campus is $70 million. And we created an endowment fund with it also. But he's given in the tens of millions of dollars. It's only because of Abbas Yisrael. Only because of Abbas Yisrael, and that they saw the love that I have for him, and to go. And it was also in the shitase from the Baal Shem Tov. If you see something and hear something, you could do something. And you have to live by it. Are you going to say someone else? No. You have to be the leader. There's something going on in the city. It's your responsibility. It's yours. Whether it has to do with Yiddishkeit or not. I get involved. I'm involved. I sit, even with the public schools. There's meetings. They call me to, ich bin an educator, I'm an Litarian. But they call me. They come to sit with meetings as an educator. We come, we sit with the school boards. They're having this week, tomorrow night, they have the new mayor. Who do they call? Every time there's a new mayor. Every single time, they call us that I should come give the blessing. They have other guys here in town. No, because why? You come there with such a chayes, with such a simcha, and I give the whole bracha, mishaberach. I make a whole thing up, and I go on and on. They love it, and and that's what it is. Is the Ge'en Yaakov, the proudness, and there's a lot of challenges today. And Baruch Hashem, we started a preschool, and we met a lot of families, and the families brought in. Then we noticed a tremendous drop. The families, they go to they finish preschool, and we never see them again. And I said, one of the mitzvah was chinuch. What are we going to do? So I spoke to people that have day schools. They said, don't you open up, you're going to drown yourself. It's a very big challenge. But we started it, Baruch Hashem, the academy.
A day school.
We have first through sixth grade already. And we have, Baruch Hashem, almost 100 kids now in the school. And it's only growing. And it's a game changer. Baruch Hashem, we have dedicated shluchim that give their life to this. Mamish, belev, benefesh, they breathe it and every moment. And its impact, you're changing the lives. It's not just the kid, it's the families. Completely. And so Baruch Hashem, from a preschool that we have, almost 300 kids in the preschool, now we have Baruch Hashem, it's hard because we live in a place that has good public schools. But we're pushing because the public schools today are challenged. There's a lot of issues that parents are not comfortable with. And I have different ways I approach. I talk to people how you get them. I work personally. This is every family is a ilam mole. So I
Hmm.
go and meet the families myself and I convince them. I do whatever I can. I go visit their homes. I do whatever it takes. And because a preschool is amazing. You get them into day school, you change. It's a game changer. It's a change. You change the family. Change the family.
Inside the child, or inside or saying the whole family.
Uh, the child and the family. The family comes along. And
Wow.
so we find this every single day. So it says that, and then we do all our regular programs. We have everything else we do, and I'm focused on money. I don't wake up in the morning that I'm a fundraiser. I don't consider myself a fundraiser. We're out there. You learn with someone. We have Baruch Hashem Zaman Gordon sits every day and learns. He has multiple shiurim. Those people that feel connected, they push it. They become invested with you. They really do. They get invested with you. And who would believe now we have a meaning for Shachas, Mincha, Ma'ariv every single day.
Wow.
And it's Baruch Hashem growing. And it's a community, we're not Los Angeles. We don't live in Los Angeles. We're around 45 minutes, 50-minute car ride out of Los Angeles. This was not known as a place where from a Yidden, Shemet Torah mitzvahs. But Baruch Hashem, that has changed. That has changed. And many multiple places all over Shluchim Ahol. Everyone in his community, his responsibility, but it's my responsibility. I take it very seriously. It's my responsibility. And as long as I don't touch, I think about it often. If I don't reach out to every Yid, they're going to come with a tiny to me. You were here
Hmm.
and you didn't come and reach out to me, or you met me and when nothing came from it. How could you say that? And what are you going to answer them? The Rebbe brings it yem neged to walking the streets. You're not saying Tanya Mishai is Balpeh, that the rock itself is going to tell you. Was stehst du auf mir? No different as if you've been the balabas in the city. They're going to come, then the shamas are going to come to you, or they're goofing the Mesa Mashiach and say, how is it possible? And Shlomo Kunyan once, I'll never forget this, he called me once, and he's screaming on the phone, Mintz. I said, what is it, Rab Shlomo? He says, when the Rebbe comes back today, he says, if you have money in your account, you're going to be in trouble. I said, what do you mean? He says, because that money you could be Makar and Nachayit. And you are
Wow.
saving it for this. He says, so the Rebbe could have came a minute earlier. You were holding it up with your savings. Didn't we learn from the Mon, Pashas Amon, that you had every day, Midayim B'Yema,
Yeah.
Ra'yim B'Yema. Yeah, exactly. And it had an impact on me. Now, don't ask me if I have a savings or not. That's not for the conversation today. But the point being is that it's a fanem, an understanding, a responsibility. And when you have that responsibility, it goes.
Wow. So let me ask you. You mentioned earlier about it in the early years, but till today, what do you do to keep that fire of his kashrus and the Rebbe's charge alive?
He's coming to Matan Torah, Anoichi, Anon Nafshik Sovas Yovis. You learn the Rebbe's Torahs. You learn the Rebbe's Sichos, the Rebbe's Mamolim. You chaz Mamolim Balpeh, on Shabbos. The Rebbe says in Ayem Yem that he says that when you say Chassidus Balpeh, Chassidus Belab, not Balpeh, Chassidus Belabim, it says it gives blachis that the kinder and kinder's kinder begolim. It's unbelievable. We know what we need to do. We know what we need to do.
Hmm.
And we just got to go and do it. And it's just, I'm not going to say there's challenges. There are challenges. I'm not here to say not. You know what I mean? Everyone, marbe nechasa, marbe daige. So it doesn't make a difference. You have a smaller, you have this. It doesn't disappear. That's golus, unfortunately. Ain't table, you can't be all negative. You got to sift it through. You have to go through it. You got Avedis Habelurim, Avedis Hanasienis, and you go through it, and that's it. You figure it out. And you march forward. And the biggest success is also today, the Nashim Tzidkanias, the wives, the ability to impact is unbelievable. They're a little softer. They're a little bit more approachable. They look at you, they get a little bit scared. The beard, the yarmulke, tzitzis, it's like, but, so different vehicles, you do it.
Wow. Beautiful. On a different note, like, you shared that, you expanded Baruch Hashem in different maistis and you have different shluchim. Like, at what point did you realize that you have to hand things over? You can't carry everything yourself. Was there a point in which that?
100%. I still remember when I was learning what I did, the Rebbe said, as if it was Melech Malchei HaMelachim.
Hmm.
Shluchim, they can't, they have a bickering. Not only you have to delegate, speak to anyone. Look at, we all know, look at anyone who's successful. If they don't delegate, they're not moving anywhere. They're not moving anywhere. So you have to delegate and you have to trust. You can't micromanage because then it's a level of lack of trust. You're there for encouragement. Baruch Hashem, we have shluchim working with us, and we have over 100 employees working now under the Meister. So it's you have the power as the leader of the Meister, whether you have one person or 5 people or 50 people, it doesn't make a difference. You have every single day, you have the ability to lift somebody up in your Meister, lift him up. Tell him what a good job he's doing. Say, even though you say you could do it better, but trust him, lift him up. Lift him up. And you'll accomplish so much more. And you have to believe in the people. If you don't believe in them, faket, what are you wasting your time for? And believe and encourage him and inspire him, and he'll do it. And it's just, I do it every day. Listen, could I do a better job? Absolutely. But you know what? He could do a better job in certain things too. And I realize that. So certain things that I know, I give it to him to do. I don't say because I don't like to do it. I know he could do a better job at it. And that's it. So we go, we conquer, we do it, and I never develop each one in his ability and his kaf shalei that he knows that his focus is, and each one has it. Every shliach has his responsibilities, and then we encourage like a scholars. We work together, and then we have independently, and we come together. No one works for me. We all work together, and Baruch Hashem, it's working. It's working, and you have to support them. You have to give them what they need, because if they're hurting financially, how could they be successful? If they're worried about, how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to be successful in shlichus. But that is panicking. No, the Mitzrayim of Avidas Parach, we finished already. That's not, we have to go, again, all with the limitations.
Wow. That is really beautiful. Would you say, is there a balance you have to find between, holding a high bar, demanding, I don't know the word demanding, but, having a high expectation or hope from, someone that's working for you to, like you said, believing, trusting them, not micromanaging them, is it completely letting go, or is there some way to
When they
having both of
first
those?
come, you work with them, and then you have to let them do it. Let them do what they feel is correct. Let them do it. If they have an idea, let them do it. Because it's his thing. If you're doing it, if he's doing what you do, then he's not doing it. You're doing it through him. You want him to do. Adam it's a pashta. When you're immature, you said no. I'd rather have tisha kab mishal chaveirei. But when you appreciate, you work hard, you see your success. Everyone wants kaf shalei, no question. Even if it's one. So you have to let him do it. Let him do it. And when he has a question, you help him. You support, not the challenge. You help, and it works. Do we have our differences? Absolutely, we have our differences. But we have to know we're all here for the same reason. We have our differences, we discuss it, then we go further. But everyone's so busy here anyways. Everyone's running full swing here. With one shliach by me is up already 6 a.m, giving shiurim in Chabad here. Then we have a minyan in the morning. Then we have shiurim in there. And then there's from Hebrew school to preschool to day school to summer camp. Baruch Hashem, we have a massive summer camp. So all going on. This is the address for all Yiddishkeit. And then we have the friendship we're doing, which is it's huge on its own, which is a whole separate entity. Baruch Hashem, we have a big staff doing that. But that opens up opportunity to meet Yidden that I would never be able to meet. And I could tell you,
could you say a little more about that?
For me, friendship is, not to go into the details of it, but it opens up a lot of opportunities. The people to open up to reach them not in a regular way. Meaning you're going to come to shul, to come to support a day school. This is humanitarian. It's more of like people are doing now, the kitchen, humanitarian. There's no question. My shver told me that when he came out to California, there was no Russians yet. He never told him he came out to California and he should come. My shver came out of Russia in the late 60s, and he always says the story when he first came out. He says the first person after he got married, he married Aksamar Gilevich. the Enikul from Rabbi Damasmid. And the first one to come over to him to offer him a job on shlichus was Gershom Mendel Gerelik from Italy. And what was the job? The job was going to be, he was going to work on shlichus a little bit, but also take care of hashkachas. He was trying to build hashkach in Italy. So my Shrev was very excited, opportunity for shlichus. He wrote into the Rebbe. And he wrote exactly. The Rebbe answered, "Nicht vadem shechadis geschleppt from Russland." So then
Hmm.
a Mashiach. The Rebbe had bigger expectations for him, and bigger, not expectations, bigger
Bigger
responsibility.
hopes. Yeah.
And he sent him to California. Then there was no Russians, but the Russians would come. And then the Rebbe said to him, first, when it comes to Russisch Yidden, but I believe today it's all, that first take care of their gashmius. Take care of them materialistically, that you're there for them. And afterwards, you'll be able to impact them beruchnius. And that's kachava.
Hmm.
And it's also, you have to show, so that's why I say friendship, a thing, you see humanitarian, you open up the heart, you open up the ability, and then you have accessibility to it on a different level.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's that's the way I see it.
Wow.
Just to
Have you
remove,
seen have you
yeah,
seen Yidden that let's say, they weren't initially connected to, the typical, Yiddishkeit stuff and Chabad meisters, but when it through friendship circle they've connected to
100%,
the yeah.
100%, kama the kama mishpachas.
Wow.
Many, 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 many families today, many. I can tell you today is because of it, no question about it. And it opens up doors that I would not be able to open up besides that. In accessibility, it opens up. We do a walk every year. It's a tremendous Kiddush Hashem, tremendous Kiddush Hashem. It's the largest walk in the state of California. We get now, Baruch Hashem, over 22,000 walkers.
Wow.
And
No.
it's very big. But it's mostly, I'd say this, it's not Yidden. I can tell you, there are Yidden, but it's such a Kiddush Hashem that who is it? A Fruma
Right.
Yid is there to help the entire community.
Hmm.
And we do this. They all come together, all the schools and everybody to celebrate kids on the spectrum. It's a very powerful thing.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
really, really powerful. And it's besides that, it also brings an enormous amount of money. But but it opens up accessibility. People see you. You speak in front of them. I speak for 5-10 minutes. Divrei Yisrael is something, inspiring for them to help out, to bring redemption, do another favor for someone else, lift up somebody else. We have that ability, and that's what it is. So
Wow.
and that's it. So I don't want to talk about myself. Everyone has success. You talk to any you talk to. You talk to shluchim today. I consider myself a young shliach still. I remember when I first came out, I was talking to Ziknei shluchim. I consider it, you know, but we're all young shluchim. Everyone, is a Mesiras Nefesh and the tkifis and the dedication is truly unbelievable. And today's time, it's mamash before Mashiach. We all know this. There's no question about it. The Rebbe's bizbus kala eitzis. Everything is accessible. Everything is available. Just go and do it. And the Rebbe, it's unbelievable. This is the final, the strength, the finishing, the crossing line. You need it. That's when the king throws everything. The Melech Malchi Amlochim, the Melech Halein, Varch, the ganze Eitze, to do whatever you need to do to just bring this across the finish line. And we have that ability. We are the ones. We are the players. We're not in the bystanders. We're not the fans. We are the ones that are going to do it. And the Rebbe
We're on the
charged us with
court.
responsibility. Yes, we are the players on the court. We're the players on the field. Everyone else is there. Some are cheering us and some are screaming against us. But we're focused what we have to do.
Wow. Wow. So what would you say to someone who is right now, he doesn't see he's in the challenge. He doesn't see the light yet of how it's all going to work out. What could he tell him to give him that strength to hold on, to keep going, not be spoil, not lose hope.
Listen, let's not discount it. There's a lot of people that, when they have to pay their bills and they don't have it. So I tell you two things. Number one is give tzedakah, even when you don't have. And we, the shluchim, are the biggest donors. It's unbelievable. To every opportunity, we're there in the forefront. We have seen by the Rebbe nothing more than the Rebbe opportunity the Rebbe gave tzedakah. So it's definitely Zagar Kapitel Tilim, tzedakah. And then just talk to the Rebbe. Talk to the Rebbe. I have a picture in my office right against. I'm looking at the Rebbe right now. the Rebbe talks to me. And I feel it. I feel the direction. I feel the inspiration. And I have it. I'm looking at it right now, and I see the Rebbe smile. In my mind, I see it's a smile. Sometimes I don't see the smile so well. And I need it, I got to push. And then it's going to go well. And if it's not so well, that means it's not the end yet. If it didn't turn out well yet, it's not the end of the story.
The story's
So
not over.
don't give up before the end. Don't, you know what I mean? You got to finish. You got to finish it, because if you're walking out. If it didn't turn out good, that means you're walking out too early. You're giving up too early. So don't do it. Don't do it. I can tell you, there's some of them I'm still on that, and I'm not giving up. It may take longer, it may take, but I can tell you very clearly, I don't think any of our larger donors came from day
Overnight.
overnight. I really don't believe it. Sometimes you get lucky here and there, but generally it's not. I'm thinking myself, it took 5, 10, 15, 20, and some 30 years. I still, but we don't give up, because if it didn't turn out good, that means it's not done yet. And Baruch Hashem, listen, the fact is, look at each one of us. Take a moment, and seriously, take a moment and think of each one of our lives. Think of where we came from and where we are today. Do you need bigger inspiration than that? You don't have to have stories from somebody else. That you have a place, that you're there on shlichus. You have a place and you built. It's a miracle. It's pashut unbelievable. And we are the envy of the world. We are the envy of the world. So if they see the treasure, you have to see the treasure. Envy comes from because they see something they don't have. And we have the emunah pshuta, we have the mesiras nefesh, and we have the eskashrus. And that's it. And there's nothing else. And it's clog your ears, become deaf. Don't listen to the chatter. Don't listen to the chatter. Don't listen. You know what I mean? It's just, I could tell you that I want to tell you this, I like to talk specific stories. I have a lot of stories, but I can tell you something over here. We decided fundraising. You have to just to share this story. We have to start a fundraising right before COVID, this project. And I went to one of the balabatim, and I've asked him for an enormous amount of money, that he should be the lead. A big, I asked him for $10 million. And he said to me, I have to meet with the CFO. It's a public company, the CFO. And I got to meet with them and see what it is. So I didn't know about COVID yet. You heard a little chatter. So I kept on asking what he said. I'll find out his schedule. So I decided to do something. I don't know why. I called the CFO, who was a Yid also, David, his name is David. I said, David, the president and the chairman of the company wants a meeting with you and I. He says, really? Why did he call? He says, no, he asked, are you available next Friday? I asked, I remember clearly. He said, 11 o'clock. He says, the balabas said 11 o'clock. Does it work for you? He says, yeah, I'll be in his office. No problem. He says, why is he calling you? They're in separate buildings. But he took it. He knows that I'm very close with him. He said, okay. This was a week before, because I knew he was traveling the balabas. And we ended up in his office. We walked in together.
Did that president know that you were coming with the?
Oh, yeah, I told him. I said to him,
okay.
I sent a message to him Friday. We have a meeting, and David's coming. He walks in. They realized afterwards, in the middle of the meeting, that I orchestrated this all. It was never, I pushed it orchestrated it all. They picked it up. So you could think they would get upset, right? You push it, but they loved the chutzpah. They loved the chutzpah. It was a Friday. And Baruch Hashem, we got a commitment. The CFO committed that they're going to do it, that we could figure out how to do it, and we're going to pull it off. Monday morning, COVID blew up. COVID blew up Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, our school closed the next week. The shuls, his whole business was basically in shambles. All his stores closed, everything. He called me a few weeks later. He said to me, Yossi, I want to tell you, if we didn't do it on that day, we would have never done it. It would have been foolish for a company to make that commitment when we're closing all our stores. So it was only because of the mesiras nefesh and not
Wow.
and just to go out.
Shtus Diktusha.
I decided. I said to wait for this never going to happen. I didn't know COVID. I decided I'm just going to go out on a limb. I was friendly enough with him to do it, but it could have turned also. It could have turned, but I did it, and they agreed. They agreed that day, and he was gonna
Wow.
he was gonna stand by it. And Baruch Hashem, he gave me the money. But the point being is that sometimes you have to do shtus kedusha. You have to. And you have to go, but you have to do it with tzeichel. You have to be very close to him. You have to know how to do it. And I decided, and it was, when I was thinking of doing it, it was a
Risky move.
a risky move, you would say, but I didn't think that something bad could happen. Worst comes to worst, but he appreciated it. He appreciated the chutzpah. People do appreciate it. They do when they see it. But they see it. So that was one. I had many other stories like this. Many, many other stories. There's one guy I want to tell you that's given us more money than everybody over the years and really involved, dedicated, mamish, belev benefesh. It's not that she's gave money. He belev benefesh. He's connected to us. Unbelievable. And he said to me as follows. He said, when I first met him, I want to tell you something so important. I first met him. I'll never forget this is 20 years ago. He wrote me a check of $50,000. And he said to me, more to come. He wrote me a second check around 6 months later for another, like 25 or 30, something like that. And then I did not hear from him for 20 years.
I'm
Or
assuming
18 years. I called him every single month. Jamie, his assistant. I want to speak to Mike. Is it? No. He's not. He's not available. But I never gave up. 18, 19, 20 years later, I call once. My regular calls. I say, Jeremy, can I speak? Oh, you didn't hear? Mike retired. He's working out of his house now. He's semi-retired. Call him on his cell. I said, do you have his cell? I remember years ago, one of my first meetings I went with to Barakinas HaShluchim. We had a conference on fundraising. Yossel Weinberg was the speaker, and he got up over there. I'll never forget. It was in Oliteira, and he gave different ideas. He says one of the things that you have to have a relationship with the secretaries. He says you have to have a relationship. We all started laughing. But you make you have to have a friendship with them because they could give you the news, what's going on, and it helps me a lot. These secretaries, you should know, tell me what's going on. So he gave me his cell phone number. I called him up. He says to me, I said, I heard you retired, Mike. All I'm asking you, I'd love to get a cup of coffee with you. He says, okay, I'll do it. And when I met with him, we met at a coffee shop. I said, Mike, what happened? Can I ask you, after we spoke, he was very friendly. He tells me what happened. He asked me for his mother-in-law, if his mother-in-law could volunteer by us in the preschool. We just started the preschool. I said, sure. So she came, I remember. And then she stopped coming. What happened was one of the teachers, not me, one of the teachers said something not nice to her. Whatever was short with her. So she left and never came back. Her father-in-law, who was a very wealthy man, said, that's it. You're not going to take care of my mother-in-law? I'm done with you. That's what he told me. So I said, Mike, why didn't you ever tell me? It wasn't me. He says, I just cut you out. You have to be careful.
Wow.
You have to be very careful. And Baruch Hashem, 18, 20 years later, I sat with him and I said to him, I want him to join our mission, our focus on this new project. And he said, Hinoni, I'll get involved. And Baruch Hashem today, unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, but it's 18 years to 20 years, I never stopped calling him. Never. Every month, once a month, sometimes more. And
I think that's the biggest miracle that you didn't give up on him after.
Nope, I did not give up. I kept on calling, just to wish him a good Shabbos. I sent him matzah, sent him shalach manis, sent him honey. I said continuously. He never said no, but I kept on sending it. And then I want to tell you where the game changer was. He went through a little crisis. He had an issue in his personal life. And he said, Rabbi, you can't help me. This is something, And I came back and I wrote to the Rebbe. I said, Beloshim from the Siderenu for the Baal Shem Tov. I said, as you see something, you hear something, you could do something. So I said, he told me this, I could do something. That I should be able to help this Yid. And Baruch Hashem, I was instrumental, miraculously. You can't explain this, that I was able to help him. That no one else was able to. I had a connection to a friend that was able to do what I started thinking. And Baruch Hashem, we were able to help him. And we pushed it. He said, you saved my life. Because the Nisayan that he was going through was dealing with very difficult things. And we were able to do it. And today, he says to me, you are a brother of mine. He tells me always, you are a brother. Whatever you want, because you saved my life. But you're there with him. And then when something happened, you know that if something, you see something, you hear something, you could do something, and you believe it, you'll be able to do it.
Wow. That is inspiring.
I hope that I hope this was inspiring to you as well as to the listeners. I don't know how much, I'm sure you heard this all from many, many people. I say it again. I'm just saying that I know you're taking the time to do this, but the benefit is to help others. If there's any specific questions you want to have just quick here or there, I'll do it. And then let's close up shop and let's go back to Alaveda.
Yeah, no, this was it was extremely valuable. I know you said you wanted to leave on the hour, so I won't keep you.
Is
But
there any specific? I have a few more minutes we could do.
Yeah,
But,
I'm sure. Here's just came to my mind, but um, sometimes the challenge people have is like, how do I get in the door? I know there's a Yid. I know that if I got in the door, I might be able to build a connection and you might be able to get involved. How do I get in the door? So other than not giving up, do you have any specific aitzes of
you have to. I just did it today. So I'm trying to get through. I'll tell you, it's a small little thing. I'm trying to get through to someone, a big foundation. It's a Yid at the foundation, a very, very big foundation. And I have a connection to a company, the CEO of one of his companies. We have a mutual friend. So I reached out there. She's a Yid also, Jillian. And I said to Jillian, months ago, I said, I really want you to help. She said, it's not my department. You have to talk to this department. This takes care of philanthropy. So I sent her a long email. We had a phone call together 3 months ago, but nothing came from it. She told me to send her information, but nothing came. So I emailed back to this lady. I said, I tried, but nothing came from it. She says, what do you mean nothing came from it? I said, she didn't respond. I said, after I sent her everything, she never responded to me. What do you think I should do, Jillian? So she responded to me, if she didn't say no, why don't you reach out again to her and also invite her for a tour of the campus? So what did I do? This was Friday. What did I do? This morning, I wrote this lady an email, the head of the foundation, Nina, and I took the email that Jillian sent me because she officially works under this lady. And I put it in, I took out the words, if she didn't say no, I raised that. And I just said, reach out to her to come for a tour. And then, and that would be, so I sent an email to her that I was talking to Jillian, the CEO, and she mentioned I should reach out to you again and invite you for a tour. So I hope, and I included her assistant on it. I got an email back immediately from her assistant that Nina is in meetings today, but let me set something up. All of a sudden, I got creative. I used her email and I forwarded, I just put the piece of it on the bottom. And I said, I'm following up because Jillian told me I should reach out again and invite you for a tour. What's going to happen, basically? But it was another opportunity. You have to become a little creative. So
Right.
it's just, so that, again, this is the middle of the story. You just asked me. So this has just happened this morning. 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, I sent her the email and the assistant sent me back that she's traveling, but she'll get something on the calendar, hopefully for a tour. And that's my goal. So every day you face this, so you have to become creative. You have to figure out ways. Sometimes it's to a person or, that's always a very good way to do it. Someone may, people know each other. And another way I do is we reach out to everybody that moves into town that has a Jewish name. You send them a letter, welcome to town. How do we get it from the real estate people? So you get all the listings, all the selling of the homes. Not always it has names, and not always the names are Jewish, and not always the names that are not Jewish are not Jewish. You can't send to everybody.
Right.
So every
Right.
3 months I send it. I want to tell you, we found many people from it. Many
Hmm.
people were very touched. I write a letter, welcome to town, shino makim, shino, mazel, and etc., etc. And I'm here to help you put up the mezuzah and anything you need. We're here for all your Jewish needs. You need a school, you need a shul, whatever. We get a very nice response from that. We get
Wow.
not massive, but we get a nice response. And also, you get to see, it tells what the sale price of these homes are. So you could find out the payments about sold $10 million, it hat was to essen. You know what I mean? It hat was, I can tell you yesterday, there was a women's group, Erev Shavuos, that they did a women's group with cheese and a whole boy. It's faces. My wife put on a whole thing. They called it a group called Shalanu. It's a women's group here. They had like 40, 50 women there. And one of the women came with some of this that just moved into town that from a letter that we sent them. Mamish, they met my wife.
Wow.
And right now they're coming this week. My wife said they have kids. They're going to come check out our preschool. But till now they went to a Goyish preschool. And now they didn't know. They didn't know that we were here. But we did it, and it's so there's different ways that you could do it. Another thing is very robust that we have a very good response to is yard sites. We ask people before Yom Kippur if we will mention their name, whether they come or not. We mention the name by the Torah. I have a whole thing. It's not for today's conversation. So we get people's yard sites and we send them every month. We send probably 150 to 200 people every month now. Our database is that big, over 30
You say
years.
it's like an automatic letter.
Letter. We send a candle, and we say come to shul, and if you'd like to make a donation. We get a very, very positive response to that. Very, very. Not the 50% and not even 30%, but we get probably 15, 20% respond to that, which is very high. And people do because it's personal. It's personal.
Right.
And first of all, a lot of them it's a shock. They don't know that the Hebrew date is the right date because we take the English date and we send a candle. We invest with it. We sell a little yahrzeit candle. So we send it. And people, when you give something to someone, they show gratitude. Not everybody, but a lot of people.
Wow.
And that's another vehicle. So there's different approaches you do it. And a lot of people, it says there, if you'd like us to say Kaddish, or you could come to say, people come to shul to say Kaddish. They do. It's very interesting. People come. I had someone come a few weeks ago and says, I never said Kaddish in my life for my father. Never. Not even at the funeral he told me. But he says, I remember my father saying it for his father. And I never did it. So I sent him that letter because of a Yom Kippur. He came to shul and said Kaddish on the yard site. And he was very emotional about it, very emotional. It's the first time he said Kaddish for his father. And he remembers seeing his father saying Kaddish for his father. But someone did the Levi, never told him to do it. So this is the approach. But Chevra, I just want to tell you, we are diamonds. We are gold. Think of yourself as only that. We are the leaders of the Jewish world. And if it's the Jewish world, we are the world. We don't walk around with a sign like this, but you have to believe it. And you go with Azaf Hanem. You go with such an approach. And you go. And you have also Mishkan Balgaiva. You have your private anivis, even with such responsibilities and such. You're an ambassador of the Rebbe, the ambassador of Moshe Rabbeinu. You go out, nobody could stop you. The only one who could stop you is yourself. Nobody could stop you. I think it was the Rebbe Malash said, the Rebbe Rashab, who said about the Negei to the Alter Rebbe, the only one who was able to touch the Alter Rebbe, to take him into prison, was Yidden. Because a guy could never touch a Yid. Especially Chassidus was Yechidush B'Nefesh. The only one who could touch Yechidush B'Nefesh is another Yechidush B'Nefesh. So they were the ones. So I know when you have a challenge, the biggest ones comes from Yidden. Not from Goyen, from Yidden. But you know that it's false. It's false. So you go, you push through, but you show with kindness. Kill them with kindness. Kill them with love. And you push it, you go out. And listen, if anyone's listening to this, want to reach out to me, I could listen, it's my pleasure. It's my honor. We're building Baruch Hashem a very large mesid. No difference if it's 2,000 square feet or 70,000 square feet. It doesn't make a difference. Each one is a miracle. And take it and keep on growing, and you'll see it's amazing things. And your success has to be your success. Don't match it to someone else's success. Everyone has, according to success, a success of his ability. And your makam shlichus, never question it. Maybe I had the shlich tell me recently, I went and learned on shlichus. I didn't get a good place. Cup. The Eilishkin Cup, every place is Shirdish Nishmasi has a place to that Makim Kavua. Your place is specifically over there. Why am I here? Because that's where my neshama has to be. And the only one who was able to do it was the Rebbe. And the only one for each one of us is to be. So number one is that's the fact. Your view, how big the community, how small the community, you should know that is your place. That's the only place you will be successful. Praktisch v'amanut, the second place I'll be more successful. That's garbage. Okay? That's foolishness. That's just wasting your time. You're not going to gain an inch or gain any success from that approach. This is your place. This is your makam shlichus. This is what was served to you, and you will do the best because this is you. Is negated your neshama, and you know in Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibush Betnish, and certainly even the Rebbe will not put you in a place that you cannot be successful. It's narishkeit, narishkeit. You know, el lefi keichan. You think the Rebbe would ask us? The Rebbe would ask us to go on shlichus to a certain place and not be successful? It's narishkeit. There's no question about it. There's not so many Yidden. Moshe Rabbeinu had in Mama, the famous answer from the Rebbe to Gutnik when they gave to mikveh. They don't underestimate. There's not so many Yidden. I don't have big companies. You don't need it. You don't need it. You never know. You never know what's going on. I can tell you something that's amazing. There was a Yid over here by us. I'll finish up with this story. There was a Yid by us. All of a sudden, I give him a call. I knew him for years. He was someone that used to come to shul, was dirty. And it was you know, it was just, you know, always for the Kiddush, and cleaned up the Kiddush with him and took it. One day I get a call from him. He says, Rabbi, do you know somebody that could write my trust for me? I said, I know a guy. Okay, you can go. It has to be cheap. All right, no problem. He says, I want you to make you the executor of my estate. Move forward. I didn't know then that he was suffering from terminal Yenamachla, unfortunately. Less than a year later, he passed away. He had no children. He had one shiksa that he wrote. They have to give a certain amount of money, which we did. And amazing. And why did he say it for? He wrote me an email. Because we showed him love and respect when he came here, he left his house and his estate to us. It was millions and millions of dollars. Why? Because we showed him respect. I want to tell you, people used to walk away from him. He used to come, not that he smelled. He was not the cleanliest guy. He was just an interesting. He was a dentist, actually. He was a dentist, retired dentist. He wasn't that old. He passed away in his early 70s. But he was an interesting guy. And he came, and he came to shul. He used to come to shul not very often, maybe once a month, once every 2 months. When he came, he used to come to the Kiddush. I used to sit with him a little bit. And I never knew nothing from it. I knew he never gave $1. Never gave $1 before. Never. Maybe $50, maybe $100, $50. I don't remember ever seeing. I didn't even know what was in his estate. Honestly, I didn't know what was in his estate, even though I gave him the attorney. The attorney never told me anything until he passed away. He passed away. I found out that he gave me his house and he gave me his stock portfolio. And it came out to millions of dollars. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So, Chavra, let us take over the world. Tzviki, Baruch Hashem, you're a microphone. Hopefully we impact one person from it. And let's go on. I wish I would have Chag Ashuas, Kabbalah Terei B'Simcha B'Pnimius, and Taka V'Shezercher to see our Rebbe immediately now. The world needs it. There's no question about it. We should see Taka V'Neflinu. We need V'Neflinu. Moshe Rabbeinu Gebet Ma'Mebishtem. We should see V'Neflinu. We need it now. The Yidden need to see V'Neflinu. Genukshen the Tzodas, Genukshen everything. And the Meretz Hashem, we should come this Chag Ashuas. We'll be dancing. We know that like Ba'im and Purim always fall on the same day. It always comes on the same day. The Rebbe gives a whole sikh about that. There's always a Yom Shlishi of Tuesday. It's no question about it. It's a grace, Zach. We're coming to Shavuos now. It's with all the challenges we face. Baruch Hashem, this is it. That we should take over.
Amen.
Kesef, Zov, everything we need. Push it, everything we need. Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Mintz. This was tremendous. And David should give you Hatzlacha and all the projects and continued Hatzlacha and
Amen.
Gesund and everything.